A frantic 911 call shatters the night, a wife's voice trembling as she accuses her husband of a heinous act, his chilling words, "I got to do what I have to do," echoing through a Crestwood Avenue bungalow. Helena Murray's desperate plea paints Hank Murray as a killer, his truck parked outside, hiding a grim secret. Clothes drenched in another man's life, a knife stained with betrayal. Yet, mere minutes earlier, a restaurant worker's horrified call reveals a body, slashed and discarded in a weed-choked lot, sparking a murder mystery that defies belief. Was Hank, a weary truck driver, capable of such savagery, or is Helena, his cunning wife, weaving a web of deceit to bury her darkness? Their 5-year marriage, frayed by her greed and a $50,000 scam, conceals a conspiracy of fraud and family violence. As Baltimore's shadows deepen, a haunting truth emerges, threatening to destroy an innocent man. What twisted motive drove this bloodshed, and who truly wielded the blade? Dive into a true crime tale of blackmail, deception, and a lie so vile it nearly rewrote justice, leaving a city scarred and secrets exposed. A woman's voice cracked through the night, and her 911 call a jagged shard of panic piercing Baltimore's humid air on July 19, 2023. Helena Murray, her words trembling, accuses her husband, Hank, of a monstrous act, claiming he stumbled into their Crestwood Avenue bungalow, his eyes hollow, muttering, "I got to do what I have to do." She swears she found his Toyota Hilux parked outside, its cabin hiding a grim secret, a crumpled pile of clothes soaked in another man's life, a knife glinting with betrayal. The dispatcher's calm questions barely steady her as she whispers of fear, of a husband she no longer recognizes. At 9:40 p.m., her call ignites a murder mystery that will unravel a conspiracy of fraud and family violence, threatening to bury an innocent man. Police swarm the bungalow by 9:45 p.m., their flashlights slicing through the muggy darkness. Hank Murray, a truck driver weathered by long hauls, stands frozen on the porch, his broad shoulders slumped, his voice lost to shock. He doesn't resist as officers cuff him, his gaze darting to Helena, who hovers in the doorway, her face a mask of practiced dread. Inside the Hilux, the evidence is damning. A flannel shirt and jeans, heavy with crimson, tangled beside a knife, its blade marred by dried streaks. A stained towel, discarded in the bungalow's bathroom, hints at a hurried cleanup, but the home itself bears no scars of struggle, no shattered glass, no toppled chairs. The officers exchange glances, their radios crackling with urgency, as Helena's story paints Hank as a killer. Yet a parallel call, placed at 7:35 p.m., gnaws at the edges of this narrative. A restaurant worker, his voice raw with horror, reported a stabbing in the shadowed lot behind his workplace, just half a mile from Crestwood Avenue. The timing clashes, a puzzle piece that doesn't fit. As police secure the bungalow, a second team races to the restaurant, their sirens a faint wail in the distance. Helena's eyes flicker unnoticed as she recounts Hank's return from Justin Wright's supermarket at 9:25 p.m., her hands ringing with calculated precision. She insists she rushed to welcome him, only to find the bloodied items in his truck, her shock driving her to dial 911. But the worker's call, placed hours earlier, whispers of a different truth, a body left in the weeds, a crime that predates Hank's homecoming. Hank's silence in custody is deafening, his inability to explain the evidence a shackle tighter than the cuffs. The bungalow, a modest haven now cordoned by yellow tape, hums with investigators' murmurs. Helena's composure, brittle but unbroken, holds the scene together, her story a threadbare cloak over a deeper deception. The restaurant lot, half a mile away, beckons with its own secrets, its overgrown edges hiding a victim whose death will rewrite this tale. As detectives begin to trace Hank's steps, a faint doubt stirs. Could a man be in two places at once, or is Helena's anguish a performance honed by greed? The night thickens, and Baltimore braces for a revelation that will shatter its quiet streets. The restaurant's rear lot, a half-mile from Crestwood Avenue, is a forgotten sliver of Baltimore, its weeds clawing at rusted dumpsters under a flickering street lamp. At 7:50 p.m. on July 19, 2023, police arrived, guided by a restaurant worker's trembling 911 call placed 15 minutes earlier. He saw a woman plunge a knife into a man's chest at 7:35 p.m., her silhouette fleeting before she vanished into the night. The victim, Willie Hahn, lies sprawled among the overgrowth, his warehouse worker's frame stilled, a crimson pool seeping from jagged wounds. His wallet, untouched, holds $70, an ID, and a phone, its screen glowing with a final text. Settle something. Now. Robbery is ruled out, but the brutality, stab wounds to chest and neck, no defensive marks, suggests a swift personal execution, igniting a true crime puzzle of betrayal. Investigators link the scenes with grim efficiency, the proximity to Hank Murray's bungalow, and Helena's 9:40 p.m. call fueling suspicion. The worker's account is vivid, but incomplete. He glimpsed a woman, not her face, her attack sudden and precise. Detectives scour the lot, finding no knife, but noting the weeds' trampled paths, a silent witness to a struggle ended too soon. Back at the bungalow, the Toyota Hilux's cargo, blood-heavy flannel, jeans, and a stained knife, seems to scream Hank's guilt, yet the worker's timeline gnaws at logic. If Willie died at 7:30 p.m., how could Hank, shopping at Justin Wright Supermarket until 9:25 p.m., be the killer? The question hangs, a splinter in the case's foundation. Helena, her composure a tightrope, repeats her story to detectives. Hank returned. She welcomed him, and the Hilux's contents shattered her world. Her voice wavers just enough, her hands clutching a coffee mug as she describes a marriage frayed by her reliance on Hank's earnings, her dreams of quick wealth clashing with his steady toil. She mentions their 5 years together, a rare nod to their past, but omits the 2021 credit card scam that binds her to Willie. Detectives note her calm, a stark contrast to Hank's stunned silence in an interrogation room, his calloused hands gripping the table, unable to counter the evidence stacked against him. The restaurant lot yields its first clue, a partial footprint, small and sharp-heeled, pressed into the mud near Willie's body. It doesn't match Hank's work boots, and the worker's insistence on a female attacker stirs unease. As forensic teams bag Willie's phone, its last message, sent to Helena, flashes on screen, a digital breadcrumb leading back to Crestwood Avenue. Detectives, now split between scenes, order surveillance footage from Justin Wright, sensing a fracture in Helena's tale. The bungalow's quiet facade, its curtains drawn, hides a conspiracy of fraud, and the restaurant's shadows whisper of a killer who walked away. As the night deepens, a single truth emerges. Someone orchestrated this bloodshed, and the answer lies in the hours before Hank's return. The interrogation room's fluorescent hum casts stark shadows over Hank Murray, his calloused hands clenched as Baltimore detectives press for answers. It's July 20th, 2023, and Hank's silence frays under scrutiny, his claim of innocence tethered to a single truth. He was nowhere near the restaurant lot where Willie Hahn met his end. Surveillance footage from Justin Wright Supermarket, a mile from the crime scene, becomes his lifeline. At 8:47 p.m. on July 19th, cameras capture Hank, a truck driver worn by endless roads weaving through aisles for vodka and groceries. His steady gait, unhurried, carries him out by 8:58 p.m., and street cameras track his walk back to Crestwood Avenue, arriving at the bungalow by 9:25 p.m. The timeline is ironclad. Willie's murder at 7:30 p.m., witnessed by a restaurant worker, places Hank a mile away, oblivious to the bloodshed. Detectives pivot, their focus shifting to Helena Murray, whose poised grief now feels like a rehearsed act. Her 911 call at 9:40 p.m., claiming she found bloodied clothes and a knife in Hank's Toyota Hilux, clashes with the worker's 7:35 p.m. alert. In a cramped office, investigators replay Helena's words, her tale of welcoming Hank, only to uncover horror. But Hank's footage exposes a fracture. He couldn't have killed Willie and returned in time. Whispers of a deeper conspiracy stir, fueled by Helena's shadowed past. She and Willie, bound by a 2021 credit card scam that netted $50,000, shared a secret that turned deadly. Willie's demands for his cut, backed by threats to expose her to Hank, hint at a motive rooted in betrayal. Hank's voice, rough but steady, recounts his evening. A routine trip to Justin Wright, no encounters, no blood. His marriage, strained by Helena's refusal to work and her nagging reliance on his paycheck, surfaces as a quiet wound. Detectives note the contrast, Hank's grounded labor versus Helena's hunger for quick wealth. The restaurant worker's account, though, gnaws at them. A woman, not a man, wielded the knife. A partial footprint, small and healed, found in the lot's mud, doesn't match Hank's boots. As forensic teams rush to test the Hilux's evidence, a detective pulls Willie's phone records, spotting a text from Helena at 7:23 p.m. "Settle something. Now." The words pulse with intent, a breadcrumb leading back to her. The bungalow, now a silent witness, looms in the investigators' minds, its tidy interior belying the chaos of Helena's call. Hank's release feels imminent, but the case's heart beats elsewhere, toward a woman whose calculated calm masks a killer's resolve. The restaurant lot's trampled weeds, the workers' shaken testimony, and the supermarket's unyielding footage converge, peeling back layers of fraud and family violence. As dawn breaks over Baltimore, a single question burns, unanswered. What drove Helena to orchestrate this murder mystery? The evidence, still unfolding, promises a revelation that will shake Crestwood Avenue to its core. Baltimore's forensic lab hums with precision, its sterile glow illuminating the truth behind Willie Hahn's murder. On July 21, 2023, the bloodied flannel, jeans and knife from Hank Murray's Toyota Hilux lie under scrutiny, their crimson stains a riddle in this true crime saga. Technicians deliver a stunning blow. The blood matches Willie's, but no trace of Hank's DNA, hair, sweat, or skin cells clings to the fabric or blade. The clothes, saturated in pooled blood, weren't worn during the attack, but deliberately soaked, a staged prop in a conspiracy of deception. The knife, its handle wiped but blade marred, tells a similar tale. No touch DNA from Hank, only Willie's life etched in steel. Back at the Crestwood Avenue bungalow, investigators re-examine the scene. The bathroom's stained towel, its fibers heavy with Willie's blood, suggests a cleanup, yet the home's pristine state, no scuffs, no chaos, points to manipulation. Detectives recall Helena Murray's 9:40 p.m. 911 call, her calculated rush to welcome Hank at 9:25 p.m., claiming she found the evidence. The timeline tightens. Helena killed Willie at 7:30 p.m., an hour before Hank's 8:30 p.m. decision to hit Justin Wright Supermarket. She had time to stage the Hilux's cargo, her hands orchestrating a lie to bury her husband. A flashback paints the scene. Helena, knife in hand, slipping the bloodied items into the truck under moonlight, her breath steady with purpose. The restaurant lot, half a mile away, offers more clues. A knife recovered from a nearby ditch, its blade bearing Willie's blood, and Helena's partial fingerprints ties her to the murder. Forensic analysts confirm the bungalow's towel holds no residue of Hank's skin, only Willie's traces, further unraveling Helena's narrative. Detectives, now circling her, revisit the worker's 7:35 p.m. 911 call, his account of a female attacker gaining weight. The partial footprint in the lot's mud, sharp-heeled and small, aligns with Helena's wardrobe, not Hank's work boots. Each finding chips away at her story, exposing a murder mystery woven with fraud and betrayal. Hank, still in custody, grips the hope of his supermarket alibi, his freedom hinging on the lab's revelations. Helena, questioned again, maintains her facade, her voice a fragile thread as she insists on Hank's guilt. But the detective's eyes narrow, sensing her calm as a mask. The bungalow's quiet walls, once a haven, now echo with the weight of her deception. As forensic reports flood in, a new lead emerges. Helena's phone, voluntarily surrendered, holds data that could shatter her alibi. Baltimore's streets pulse with the case's growing shadow, and the restaurant lot's secrets beckon, promising to unveil a killer's final misstep. The digital forensics lab in Baltimore crackles with urgency on July 22, 2023, as Helena Murray's phone surrenders its secrets, dismantling her carefully spun lie. A 7:48 p.m. photo, timestamped July 19th, captures Willie Hahn's lifeless form in the restaurant lot's weeds, the knife wounds stark under a flickering street lamp. The image, taken with Helena's device, places her at the crime scene, half a mile from the Crestwood Avenue bungalow, contradicting her claim of staying home. GPS data seals the trap. Her phone pinged from 7:23 p.m. to 7:52 p.m. behind the restaurant, a silent witness to her 7:30 p.m. murder of Willie. Deleted texts, recovered with forensic precision, reveal Helena's desperate ploy. At 7:23 p.m., she messaged Willie, "Settle something. Now." His reply, "Okay," marks his final act, lured to a deadly rendezvous. Messages to an unknown contact, dated days earlier, expose her panic. "He'll ruin everything if I don't stop him." A reference to Willie's blackmail over their $50,000 credit card scam. His threats to expose her to Hank, demanding his cut, drove her to kill, her greed and fear of marital collapse, a lethal fuse. The phone's metadata, unyielding, confirms the photo's authenticity, its geolocation pinning the restaurant lot. Detectives confront Helena, her composure fracturing as the photo flashes on screen. Her denials, claiming the image arrived from an unknown source, crumble under the GPS evidence. She stammers, unable to explain her presence at the crime scene, her voice a fading echo of confidence. The knife from the ditch, its fingerprints hers, cements her guilt, its bloodied edge a mirror to the staged blade in Hank's Hilux. Investigators trace her movements. After killing Willie, she wiped the weapon, planted Hank's clothes and a decoy knife in the truck, and waited for his 9:25 p.m. return to call 911 at 9:40 p.m., framing him with chilling precision. Hank, in a holding cell, clings to his just-and-right alibi, unaware of the digital noose tightening around Helena. The bungalow, now a crime scene, stands silent, its walls complicit in her deception. Baltimore's investigators, fueled by the phone's revelations, prepare to unravel the full scope of her family violence and fraud. The restaurant worker's testimony, the footprint, and the forensic findings converge, painting Helena as the architect of a murder mystery that nearly doomed an innocent man. As the case hurtles toward a breaking point, a confession looms, ready to expose the depths of her betrayal. Baltimore's interrogation room is a pressure cooker on July 23, 2023, its air thick with the weight of truth closing in. Helena Murray sits rigid, her once flawless composure unraveling as detectives lay out the damning evidence. A 7:48 p.m. photo of Willie Hahn's stabbed body, her phone's GPS pinging the restaurant lot, and a knife bearing her fingerprints. Her eyes dart, searching for an escape, but the walls echo with her own text to Willie. "Settle something. Now." Confronted with the digital trail, Helena's voice cracks, and the confession spills like a breached dam, exposing a murder mystery steeped in betrayal and family violence. She admits to killing Willie at 7:30 p.m. on July 19th, behind the restaurant half a mile from the Crestwood Avenue bungalow. Willie, a warehouse worker, had blackmailed her over their 2021 $50,000 credit card scam, demanding his share after she reneged, threatening to tell Hank, her truck driver husband. Their 5-year marriage, frayed by her refusal to work and dependence on his earnings, was her anchor. Willie's threats risked capsizing it. Helena lured him to the lot, and when he grew hostile, she plunged a knife into his chest, his blood pooling in the weeds. She wiped the blade, tossed it into a ditch, and returned home by 7:52 p.m., her plan already forming. Knowing Hank would head to Justin Wright's supermarket, Helena acted fast. An hour before his 8:30 p.m. decision to shop, she retrieved his old flannel and jeans from a storage bin, drove back to the restaurant lot, and soaked them in Willie's blood. She planted the clothes and a decoy knife in his Toyota Hilux, waiting for his 9:25 p.m. return. When the restaurant worker's 7:35 p.m. 911 call brought sirens, Helena rushed to welcome Hank, discovering the evidence and calling 911 at 9:40 p.m., framing him with chilling precision. Her motive was twofold: silence. Willie's blackmail and escape of marriage she saw as a cage, her laziness and greed fueling the deception. Hank, cleared by the Justin Wright footage and forensic absence of his DNA, is released that day, his broad frame slipping quietly from custody. He boards a bus to West Virginia, shunning the city's glare, his silence a shield against the ordeal. Helena, now in handcuffs, faces the wreckage of her lie. The bungalow, its curtains still, holds the ghosts of her conspiracy, while the restaurant lot's trampled weeds whisper of a crime nearly buried. Detectives, sifting through her confession, sense a final piece missing, a trial that will test Baltimore's resolve to deliver justice for a murder mystery that shook its core. The courtroom crackles with anticipation in December 2023, its packed gallery hushed as Helena Murray's 6-day trial unfolds, a crucible for a true crime narrative of deception and betrayal. Prosecutors unveil a relentless case. Helena's 7:48 p.m. photo of Willie Hawn's stabbed body, captured in the restaurant lot's flickering glow, anchors her guilt. GPS data tracks her from 7:23 p.m. to 7:52 p.m. at the crime scene, half a mile from the Crestwood Avenue bungalow. Text to Willie: "Settle something. Now?" Reveal her lethal lure, while messages to an unknown contact confess her fear of his blackmail, exposing their 2021 $50,000 credit card scam. A knife from a nearby ditch, bearing her fingerprints and Willie's blood, glints in evidence, its edge a testament to her precision. The restaurant worker's testimony electrifies the room. He saw a woman stab Willie at 7:35 p.m., his 911 call sparking the probe. His description, sharp heels, deliberate strikes, matches Helena, corroborated by a small heeled footprint in the lot's mud. Forensic experts dismantle her frame-up. The blood-soaked flannel, jeans, and decoy knife in Hank Murray's Toyota Hilux carry only Willie's blood, no trace of Hank's DNA, proving they were staged post-murder. The bungalow's lone towel, stained with Willie's blood, hints at a calculated cleanup, its pristine interior belying Helena's 9:40 p.m. panic call. Helena's defense weaves a fragile tale of distress, claiming Willie's threats and Hank's financial grip drove her to desperation. Her attorney cites therapy notes, painting a woman unraveled by pressure, but the jury's eyes harden. A neighbor's testimony stings. Helena once mused about cutting ties for good, her voice cold. Prosecutors counter with her motive. Willie's demand for his scam share threatened her marriage and lazy reliance on Hank's truck driver wages. Her 911 call, played aloud, rings hollow, its rehearsed terror clashing with her confessed orchestration. Killing Willie at 7:30 p.m., staging evidence before Hank's 9:25 p.m. return. After 7 hours of deliberation, the jury's verdict lands like a gavel's echo. Guilty on second-degree murder, obstruction, evidence tampering, and false reporting. Helena, her defiance fading, stands rigid, the weight of justice pressing down. Baltimore leans in, the restaurant lot's grim legacy, and the bungalow's shadowed quiet fueling whispers of retribution. The judge's sentencing looms, a final act in a murder mystery that has gripped the city, its truth carved in evidence, and a woman's unraveling lie. On December 20th, 2023, Baltimore's courthouse stands as a solemn sentinel, its chambers heavy with the final act of Helena Murray's reckoning. The judge's voice cuts through the silence, sentencing her to 28 years, 19 without parole, for second-degree murder, obstruction, evidence tampering, and false reporting. Her 7:30 p.m. stabbing of Willie Hahn, her staged flannel and knife in Hank Murray's Toyota Hilux, and her 9:40 p.m. 911 call were a calculated conspiracy, a betrayal that nearly shattered an innocent life. The restaurant lot's bloodied weeds half a mile from the Crestwood Avenue bungalow and the workers' 7:35 p.m. 911 call remain etched in the city's memory, markers of a murder mystery that bared its underbelly. Helena, led away in cuffs, leaves behind a void. Her greed, fueled by a 2021 $50,000 credit card scam with Willie, and her refusal to share his cut, drove her to kill, fearing his threats would unravel her marriage. Hank, cleared on July 23rd, has fled to West Virginia, his truck driver's grit buried under silence. He shuns the spotlight, his new address a guarded secret, the bungalow's echo too raw. The home, its porch creaking in winter's chill, sits unsold, its windows dark with the stigma of Helena's lie, neighbors passing with wary glances. The restaurant lot draws hushed pilgrims, its dumpsters and trampled paths a shrine to Willie's final moments. His wallet, holding $70, an ID, and a phone with Helena's last text, rests in evidence, a life extinguished by fraud. The Justin Wright supermarket footage, proving Hank's 8:47 p.m. alibi, and the ditches knife, bearing Helena's fingerprints, linger as pillars of justice. Baltimore closes the case in January 2024, its file sealed, but the city's pulse quickens at the memory of a woman who wove a lie as deadly as her blade. As snow dusts Baltimore's streets, the tale of Helena's deception, a murder mystery of family violence and cunning, resonates in quiet bars and crowded corners. The bungalow's empty shell and the restaurant's flickering street lamp stand as silent witnesses, tethered to a narrative that reshaped a community's trust. Hank's absence, Willie's silenced voice, and Helena's caged future weave a haunting tapestry, a city forever marked by a truth clawed from the shadows of deceit. If this case gave you chills, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real crime revelations. Stay curious, stay safe, and always remember, every story hides a secret waiting to be uncovered.